forget hedge funds. Walk away from private equity and tell the derivatives boys they can dump their baffling mathematical formulas in the dustbin, at least the one under the desk. So says the man who calls the currency traders the next kings of the financial markets. Bloomberg's prophetic columnist joining us now. Matthew Lynn is here. So why is foreign exchange going to be the new next big thing?
Well, I think I was just trying to sort of, take a kind of longish view on this one. There's usually one sector of the financial markets which is dominant over everything else. In the 80s, it was M&A bankers. In the 90s, it was the venture capitalists and the IPO people who brought us the dot-com boom and so on. Last decade, hedge funds and derivatives traders. And I think that there are reasons for thinking that the currency markets, which have been fairly sort of a bit of a backwater for quite a long time now, are going to take a very big role. I mean, we're seeing it most obviously, I think, in the sovereign debt crisis. We're seeing all the action in Portugal and Greece and the other countries that are being attacked for the size of the deficit. And everyone's talking about how the sovereign debt crisis is going to roll out around the world, and that's essentially a currency story. Because
so could we have a look at an explosion then of various derivatives products? Well, we have many anyway with the foreign exchanges, but a new wave of these products.
Yeah, I think you're going to see two things. I mean, the two things that make an area kind of dominant in the financial markets are really a lot of volatility and a lot of innovation. And I think you're going to see both things. You're going to see huge amounts of volatility in the currency markets because the currency markets are really the only place that the markets, can pass any kind of verdict on what governments are doing. Governments took all the risk from the banking system, they took all the risk from the financial system, put it on their own books. And the only way the markets can really start working that out and dealing with all of that is via the currency markets. But you're also going to see a lot of innovation, I suspect. I mean, the other big theme I was just touching on in the column is the long-term decline of the dollar.
I mean, that's a trade everybody's going to be looking at. So, the dollar should be weakening as we speak. It's not.
Well, no, absolutely. Well, the dollar bounces around, but I think you don't want to focus. We love to do this on Bloomberg TV. We focus on what happened in the last 5 minutes, but you've got to step back for a little bit. And
say, heaven forfend.
Not you, Rishaad. You only ever take a long magisterial view. I know that, but you don't want to just focus on what's happening this week or last week. Over the long term, the dollar's being replaced as a global currency. I think we can see that quite clearly. And again, that's a currency market story. It's going to be within the currency markets that people are going to find out what can credibly replace that, and that's going to be tested, by traders. So you get this huge amount of innovation in that sector, and you have a huge amount of volatility, and that's going to make it a good place to be, I think.
So with the currencies as a store of value.
Well, yeah. Well, that's going to be the tough one because people want a reliable store of value. I mean, investors want that, and people are going to be looking to that, and they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that from the dollar because it just doesn't have. The United States doesn't have the dominant global position in the world markets, to provide that. And at some stage in the next 10 years, you're probably going to see some kind of new instrument. No one really knows what it is. It could be something to do with the IMF. It could be a basket of currencies. It could be gold. It's got its enthusiasts. But people are going to want something that's a reliable store of value. And again, the currency markets are going to be the medium for which they look for that.
I believe, I don't know if this stat still holds true, but the city of London anyway was bigger in terms of foreign exchange.
Yeah, biggest hub in the world. Yeah, absolutely.
The next three put together or something.
Yeah,
so
no, it's good news
to benefit the most.
Yeah, it's good news. It's good news for London. Hasn't been much good news for London recently, but actually this is a good one if we can get our tax structure in slightly better shape and stop attacking people's bonuses, because London's been the main hub for a long time.
New York growing faster at the moment.
Yeah,
too.
New York's growing a bit faster. The latest figures. I mean, London's growing pretty fast. Currency trading is growing very quickly.
Are we back to pre-crunch levels?
Not quite. We're about. I think the latest Bank of England figures were about 10% off pre-crunch levels, but that's pretty good when you consider it took a huge dive when the whole financial system froze up a couple of years ago. We're pretty close to it. But New York, you're right, New York is growing a bit faster than London at the moment, but had a bigger dive. But London is still in the dominant position. So it is, if currency trading is the most important bit of the markets, then it's good news for London.
Matthew, great to see you as ever. Matthew Lynn there, our prophetic columnist right here on Bloomberg.